we'll be taking a look at the master bus and the mastering session. As you can see, I don't have too many plugins on the master bus. We have the VBC rack, where I'm using just the first two compressors. I typically don't use this one because it adds quite a bit of top end and makes it somewhat harsh. Let's just take a listen to what this is doing.
There are words of silence and sounds of tears, a dazing and a shadow soul. See, feel, and
I find that it's bringing everything a bit more forward and just adds a bit more life to everything. As you'll notice, these are both around halfway on the mix knob, so it is working in parallel. I find that that just helps keep it more open and not end up sounding over compressed. Next off, we have the virtual tape machines. Let's just take a listen to that. One thing I always do on this is bring the noise down, because I find it can get quite noisy if you don't. I also experiment quite a bit with the speed. We can take a listen to this. I just found that I preferred 15 IPS on this song. And finally, I have a Pro L2 here. It doesn't really do anything. It isn't actually limiting. I was using this when I first started off just so that nothing was going over, but at this stage it isn't actually limiting anything. Let's now take a look at the Samplitude project where I mastered this in. So as you can see, I've brought in the mix down into Samplitude, and I've added a couple of plugins here and done a couple of edits. So if we take a look at the plugins, as you can see, we have this Pro Q2 here, and now this is working in the MS mode, and now let's take care of this peak here that was happening in the center. What you may not have noticed is that the scale here is set to 3 dB, so it is just small minus 0.97 of a dB. So next down the mastering chain, we have Ozone. I typically use this just for the imager in it. So as you can see here, I'm expanding the top end and also opening up sort of upper bass and then tightening up the bottom, and we can take a listen to that.
of tears, a dazing and a shadow soul. See, feel, and taste.
And then next up we have the Soft Tube Very Comp. This one isn't doing too much.
Of tears, a dazing and a shadow soul. See, feel, and taste. Into.
Following that we have the Soft Tube Passive EQ. It's just adding a bit of high and low.
Of tears, a dazing and a shadow soul. See, feel, and taste.
And finally I have the Pro L2. In this case it is limiting quite a bit. You can see I'm bringing it up from the mix level to the level that I want it to be at. And I am using the 16 times oversampling.
Of tears, a dazing and a shadow soul.
Now I'm not using the dither here. This session is in 48K and 24 bits, so I'm exporting the file in that, and then I'm using RX to downsample it to 44.1 and 16-bit with the dither in RX. As you can see, I also have a couple of level changes and also some individual processing in different parts. You can see here. And that's about it. I didn't have to do too much in the mastering of this track. So this concludes the mix breakdown for Into the Deep. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a couple of things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.